The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio. Keep your mission on your mind and your mind on your mission. This is Mission Minded with Michael Coleman.
Welcome back to the Mission Minded. Here's Michael Coleman, Heart of Alabama Food Bank, my good partner and co-host. And, of course, I'm Tony Kurre. And, Michael, I want you to tell everybody about what we're planning on doing here. We are starting March 16th. Come higher, you know what? And we're going to get on it, Mission Minded on 101.1 The Truth. A lot of people are like, well, wait a minute, don't you already doing a show on Tony Kurre Radio? Yes, we are. But we are expanding into terrestrial land on a 100,000 watt stick. Tell everybody about it. It's going to be awesome.
Super excited about it. I've not ever done a show on terrestrial radio before. That's why I'm leaning heavily upon your expertise.
Don't be nervous. It's okay.
Yeah. But I think you and I have some great conversations. I think we deal with real issues. We try to do it in an authentic way, and not coming at it from we have everything in life figured out. But hey, we've been down some tough roads, and hopefully we can inspire people. We can challenge people, and hopefully make their day, make it a good hour of listening. It
was the funniest thing. I was speaking in front of a group of about 2,200 people on Tuesday. And they just wanted me to tell my story, and it's quite a story. God has placed me in a lot of interesting and wonderful, adventurous roles. I've recreated a lot of those roles for myself, and I don't mean that in a good way. But I was sitting there talking about, how I got my start in, and I talked about the billboard, and I talked about, 1989 when I got to town, and like 90% of the people there didn't even realize I did classic rock radio. They're like, dude, that was you? And I'm like, yeah. And they just knew me from Jocks. They knew me from doing sports radio and the ESPN thing from like 20 years ago. But they were like, wait a minute, you were on classic rock? What? You're toned about? And it was like, and I was like, wow, yeah. I mean, I turned 60 the next Saturday, and I'm like, yeah, we're hitting a whole totally different new listening audience. So, which was really, really cool. All right, info at TonyKurreRadio.net. You can send those. Also, info at MissionMindedRadio.com. MissionMindedRadio.com is the website. Michael put it together. It's a great website. Check it out. You can drop us emails. You're going to be doing some blog work on there. We'll be dropping some videos. You can also catch the shows. It's still got
some work to do, but it's but our email on that is missionmindedradio@gmail.com. So you can reach out there as well.
And if you want to add an info chat, that's certainly fine. But that information's on there, and we'll, like today, we're doing emails, and we'd love that. So we'll get into it. Info at TonyKurreRadio.net. A couple of them. Tim here in Birmingham wants to know, what is the big deal about all the feedback? He said, every time I go out to a restaurant, they're asking me, hey, if you'll fill out this little form here, you'll get a free chicken sandwich and give us feedback. Why do I need to give feedback on everything? And how important is it when someone says they have 75,000 five-star reviews? Does it even mean anything anymore? What's your thoughts?
Well, I will tell you, I look at it from a business perspective. I do look at reviews sometimes, although I don't make sole decisions based on them. I do it more on the purchasing rather than the restaurants. But I will say this. If I go, as hard as business is, I think about the business owner, and I think if they've worked hard to deliver a good either shopping experience or a good dining experience, and those who really put the effort into it, or really, and it could even be a chain, but the general manager of that chain is really working hard to make it nice. Then when it asks me, would I leave a review, I tend to take the time to do it. Now, I don't go too extensively or anything else, but I feel like that it's a way that I can, because as you know, it's not routine anymore to go and get good service. The norm is,
unfortunately,
the norm is the opposite. So there's two things about it. So when I started doing some reviews on Google, sometimes Google sends me an email and says, this many people looked at your reviews. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that's not why I was doing it. But if I help them make a better decision, then I'm just helping people. From a restaurant's perspective, I think it's a couple things. Number one, they want genuine feedback. I send out surveys from the food bank to both our clients and to the pantries that we supply. And I'm like, hey, good, bad, or ugly, I want to know what your honest feedback is. Because restaurant owners, any business owner, any leader, organizational leader, the reality is we have blind spots. And we tend to say, oh, yeah, I know this exists, but it's really not a big deal. Well, if I send it out to 200 of our agencies and say, give us a feedback, and 10 to 15 agencies come back and say, yeah, this is what I would change if I could, then I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's a bigger problem than what I presumed it was, because of my biases or my whatever. So from a recipient standpoint, I'm like, okay, I got good service. I want to help that business. I want to help others who are looking for that. And so I'm going to bridge that for them. But from a business owner's perspective, the more people that they can get, if they know they have had a good dining experience, the more of those they're going to get. Some people just look at, oh, wow, they've had 5,000 reviews and 4,500 are 5-star.
Yeah.
Then it's going to bring a lot of business your way, because a lot of people make decisions solely off what that app is. Now, I also think on the negative reviews, and there are some ways that you can remove those reviews if they are not don't deal with a specific issue. If you just say these people suck, then they could delete that. And some people are like that. Some people are just so hard to please. They'll run you all day long and don't tip well and complain or whatever. But I really think it's just where we are in our society, that businesses need the feedback. You hope that if you do offer some positive, some helpful like criticisms, you're not trying to hurt the business. You're just trying to let them know, hey, my experience wasn't that great. You hope that they take that and make changes.
It does.
There's a lot of different elements of it right there.
It does seem like, obviously, a lot of people will go into a restaurant and they don't want to make a big deal out of it. I used to date this girl that every time we went out, she was causing problems. It was like, and it got to the point where I wouldn't even want to take her out anymore. Everything was always wrong, because she always wanted stuff on the side. It was like when Harry Met Sally. It was like everything had to be on the side. And so, I don't think people actually go into the restaurants and actually write bad things. By the way, Tony Kurre Radio, 750 5-star reviews, by the way. We have 750. So people love our app and they love our show. So I'm just saying. Yeah. I do remember when we first started, the first thing I did was called every one of my friends saying, man, get on there, give me a 5-star review and blah, 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 blah. And realizing that from time to time, every visit's going to be different. You want consistency. Everyone talks about consistency. Just if it's going to be lousy, at least I know it's going to be lousy. Just make sure and that's one of the reasons that, we're not too fond of franchises. Go ahead.
Well, think about it. Back in the day, you didn't have the app. All you had was, oh, my buddy went to this restaurant and he said it was awesome. Mm-hmm. And so you would make decisions based off what your friends and family told you about something. And you might find it to be true. You might find it, it was overblown. So that's all people are doing now is they're like, hey, I want a steak. Well, what are some good steak restaurants in our area? And right away, if you see a steak and it's got, all of them are going to have a lot of 5-star reviews. But if you have a significant amount of 3 and 2 and 1s, you're going to have some. But if you have a significant amount, right away, I'm going to move on from that and make. So even today, even though I don't live in that space, I still make decisions based on what the recommendations and statements of other people are. So it affects the bottom line of the business owner. So you see why they push for those as much as possible.
You're watching Mission Minded. By the way, I know we're going to be going on terrestrial radio, but that doesn't mean you won't be able to watch us. We are going to be visual, regardless of whether you like our faces or not. So you're going to have to get used to it.
We apologize in advance.
We apologize in advance. We have faces for radio, but we will be visual, and we want to make sure that that's going to be happening from show 1. So regardless, you'll be able to listen to us in the car or wherever you're at and also watch us as well. Ben in Tuscaloosa says, every time I go to a fast food restaurant right now, if I go inside, I have to wait to find a parking spot because everything's for carry-out orders. And then when I go through drive-thrus, now it's drive-thru or app. Can you please explain to me why the explosion of online orders and how does it work to the advantage of the business? That is, that's a great question. I still can't figure it out.
Is.
I really can't because Chick-fil-A is one of them. Usually their online order line is a lot longer than just a drive-through. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to have to go through the drive-through anyway. And I'm getting my food. You're behind the Mercedes. They tell you which one car to get behind. So what are the advantages of doing something online? Is it just to keep track of your customers? What is it?
Yes. Okay. So if they have you in their system, then they've got your information, and then they can work hard. So think of the landscape of how many fast food choices there are. Mm-hmm. So if I'm Chick-fil-A and I'm like, okay, if I can get as many people signed onto my app, so I've got their information, I can text them, then what I can do is I know that almost every day people are making a decision about where to go. So how can I influence that? So I'm going to send them, hey, there's a special today. Or if you buy through the app, you get this. And then it's the idea of it's supposed to be quicker because you've already ordered it and they've got your order prepared. So, like when you go into the drive-thru, you give your order. You don't know for a fact that you're going to get correctly what you ordered. And
don't you feel guilty when you check it before you leave the window? I hate when people do that. And every time I do, they look at me and I'm kind of like, and because it only takes one time because you don't check it till you get home. And by then it's always the one that's the most persnickety. They don't get their meal. I hate that.
Well, let me tell you, that makes me so uncomfortable because it makes me so frustrated with people who do it. I don't do it. I said, I'd rather just drive away with the wrong order.
I do too.
Than have 10 people behind me going, look at this jerk. But so the more people that you have, the more you stay connected to them, the more often they will choose you versus other places. So it's all driven by business. It's all driven by connectivity. When they send out a message, they want people who are going to see the app, respond to the app. And so that's why they incentivize. That's why I said, hey, if you order through the app, we'll give you a free, or if you download the app, we'll give you a free chicken sandwich. I mean, they incentivize that because it's a good business model for them. Now, going back to the other thing, there's a mad influx, as you know, of DoorDash and things like that. So most restaurants you go in now, they'll have like a little shelf system.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And they'll have DoorDash orders and they'll have Lyft or whatever. And what to me is so maddening about that is, first of all, I'm a big convenience guy. I love convenience. But it's almost like where I am with each. When I order a pizza, and my pizza place that I like to order from is about 3 miles from the house. Uh-huh. So they always say, okay, the place will charge you about $6 to order delivery. Mm-hmm. And they say that's not for the driver. So then you typically have to
so you're talking 10. Yeah, talking 10 bucks.
Yeah, so you're gonna add $15, $20 to every order. And I don't do it that much. At least that's how I justify it in my mind. But I'm sitting there thinking, I may have the means to be able to do that, so it's not that big of a deal. I really should get off my lazy butt and go pick it up and avoid that. However, the amount of people who are doing that, who are ordering number ones at McDonald's and getting a Big Mac meal, and end up paying $20 or $15 for a Big Mac meal, are not people oftentimes who have the luxury of doing that.
No.
And it makes me, I just scratch in my head.
I still can't believe that it's a business. I don't get Grubhub. I don't get DoorDash. I really don't. Now I like to cut my own grass. I like to do my own thing. But how damn lazy are we? And listen, a Big Mac meal is now about $9 or $10, and you're willing to pay $20 for it to have it delivered to your house. And I'm always
that lazy.
And I'm always thinking to myself, it's going to be hotter if I get it myself. I don't know what they're doing to my food. Let me ask you this, and this kind of goes along with it. I saw a Kroger truck the other day. You got Kroger's down there. Kroger's a Midwestern.
We don't have it, but
Kroger's a Midwestern chain. I used to shop there all the time when I lived in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I see these Kroger trucks all the time. I know that the grocery business and you know this as well as anybody because you deal with it every single day. The markup, there's no markup. I mean, it's really, it's cut and dry, man. There's not a lot of money. And I mean, you have to sell a lot of stuff. I know like the Publix down the street, when they have $1 million day, it's a monster day for them, but they're not making $1 million. They're right. Selling $1 million worth of stuff. How in the world are like these shipped makers? How are they making money? Is that just another convenience thing where people are willing to pay $25 to go pick up $100 worth of groceries? Is that what it is? Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah, but now you have the Walmarts and all that have caught on.
And the ship buyers, by the way, are not friendly. Well, these people that go in. You know, we used to go to the grocery store, Michael, to actually talk to some people and get to know your people that are around. I know everyone. Socialization. Yeah. And I'm not saying take my time because there are some times where I need to get in and get out. But these ship people that got lists and stuff, man, they're cutting in line. They're doing all their things. They're grabbing their stuff. And I know they have a job to do. I get it. But
well, I'm going to tell you something. I am no different. We are slaves to convenience because this is why credit card companies make billions of dollars. Because we want it now, and we don't we worry about the payment later. We worry about interest. We worry about all that later. I want it now. Now, having said that, sometimes it's not more. So people who order their groceries online, you think about how attractive that is for. I know people like moms on their way home from work who have to cook supper. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, I would have to go by the grocery store. They order it all. They pull up. I'm here. They bring all that. I mean, that could save them an hour of time and effort of energy. Now, I will tell you this. I was blown away not too long ago walking through the local Walmart. And I happened to look into this area and the door was open. It was a roll-up door where they served those. And I bet you it was 15 employees in there and blue boxes everywhere. And it just let me know that these people, all they do is get these orders. They go out, they collect it all up, they bring it back. I mean, it is turned into a huge part. Wow. But does it make sense to do that? Yes, because if Walmart will do that and Publix will not, for instance, Publix is real big, in our area, a lot of people will say, I'm going to go with either to have it done like that or have it delivered to my house.
I'll never forget. I had a friend of mine who was in the restaurant business, the Ronellis, and they had a bunch of spaghetti places and Italian places. And he had one of these things where he invited me over to his house along with like 60 other people to throw this idea out. And I was like, yeah, I'm his friend. I'll check it out. I didn't know if it was for, I don't know if it was a pyramid scheme or what. I didn't know what it was. But this was 25, 30 years ago, but it was all about this grocery idea where you're part of this group and you get online. This is, 20 years ago. So this before the internet was like internet. And you get on there and you get on the site and you order your groceries through this third party and they go get your stuff and they bring it to you and they make sure that it's bagged correctly and all this other stuff. And they bring it to your house. And it was like $49 a month for the service. And I said, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And we were all like, what are we doing? And here we are. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. I mean, it's crazy, crazy stupid. All right, got a married couple here in Pickens County. Said they started an antique mall several years ago. It's going very, very well. They were always told about email list and how important it is. This kind of a running stream underneath our show today about how keeping track of your customers and everything else. And they've gotten up to about 20,000 names on their email list. And so they have a really good grasp of their users. And that's wonderful.
That's beautiful.
And great feedback. They want to know how they can protect those people. We've seen that before where we've had business breaches and also people sell their business acumen. I know you can go out there and actually buy lists of people.
That's true.
Is that something that they need to worry about? Is there a special computer program for that? How do you protect the donors at the Heart of Alabama Food Bank?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I want to even tell you, so first of all, we have a cloud-based system. So it's not on our servers or anything like that. We have it's done. Our particular one's done through Bloomerang is the company.
Bloomerang?
Bloomerang is the name of it. And we trust in their security. If they had a breach, they would, be required to notify. And we don't really have any control over that. But I will tell you what we did have control over. So there's a time where you go through list companies. So when we do a donor acquisition, we want to get names and mailing addresses and any other kind of information to send out something in an attempt to introduce them to the food bank and hopefully gain their support. It's a very costly thing, but one of the things that they try to do is they offered us last time we did this. They said, well, if you will give us your database, here we have some lists that are really good, but you can't rent those. You have to buy the list. Now, if you buy a list, you get to hold on to every bit of those, like you own that list.
Yeah.
If you rent the list, then you don't actually get they will send those lists to our printers. They won't send us the list to put in our database. But the only way we could buy was if we were willing to sell our list. And I said right then, I'm not going to violate the confidence. Now, let me say this. Everybody's information is public in terms of base information, in terms of I can do a search on anybody, and there's so many public data systems out there that your name, your home address, all of that is very likely to come up. As a matter of fact, there's some new apps that have come out that claim to be able to wipe your name completely off the internet. I can't speak as to how good those are. They may be great, they may not be, but there's a lot of money going on behind the scenes in selling information. And so, and it's all business related just for that reason. But I will say this, there's a site, I won't say it on here, that you go to now that you can purchase not only the names and addresses, but the email addresses. And what they do is they will confirm, they ping the address. They don't actually send them an email. They ping the address to verify that it's a valid email address, that it's still good, and that the address, this is how specific they can get. So I ordered, it came as about 3,500 names, and it was that those people were actually the owners of the home. They weren't renters, and I could get into all the specifics as to why that is. Well, that information came, but they were able to verify first that those were actually the people in the house were actually homeowners, and they pinged the addresses, and they would have done the same thing for phone numbers if I got them. So it's so sophisticated, and technology moves so quick in verifying that kind of information. Now, I would love to talk with that couple about all the different ways that they can utilize those lists, but they're probably sending those lists out on like a Constant Contact or a MailChimp format. And if they're storing those, which I'm sure they are, on those cloud sites, it's the same thing as I said about Bloomerang. They're protected on there. It gives people, when you send information out to them, it gives them the ability to opt out. And it'll even tell you things like, if you put links in there, like it'll tell you who's opened the email, what links specifically they've clicked on, all that kind of information. And it's really very inexpensive to do that. A great way to promote, but kudos to them if they've been able to get 20,000 emails in Pickens County. That's wonderful.
We got email here from Elizabeth. We don't really have enough time to get to her email. We'll get it on the other side. Maybe we'll do it next week. Elizabeth in Elizabethtown, but she said she listened to our show last week about AI data centers, and it really opened her eyes, and she wanted to thank you for it. She was asking a question. Again, we only have a couple minutes here left, but she was asking, will technology pass us by in the next 10 years where we have all these huge AI data center buildings and they're empty? She's like, it sounds like we're going to have all these buildings and eventually they'll be obsolete because of quantum or whatever. And next thing you know, we've got millions and millions of acres of buildings and they're empty all over the United States. Do you see that happening?
Yeah, it's a great thought, but I mean, it's where your mind tends to go. But let me say this. With every significant change, like when the internet came along, what happened is our economy shifts with that. So did some jobs go away? Yes, because you could do it through the website. But that brought in new jobs and new technology. AI is going to be no different. It's going to eliminate some jobs, but it's going to bring about new jobs. And the demand for information and the ease in which technology, the productivity increases, I don't see any limit or any end to it. I will tell you something. We are going to be absolutely blown away as to what we will be able to do from our desktops in 10 years, things that you could not even imagine or dream up today. It's going to be really phenomenal.
We should do something on our new show about the convenience of the Lord. See, when I see that we're talking about business ideas and we're talking about through the lens of seeing Jesus Christ, I would be interested because someone told me the other day that there's a Catholic app now. It's called Catholify. Is that right? Anyway, and I was like, really? And I was like, and it just has all these different things, these different apps, and how important it is because there is no AI when it comes to saying prayers. By the way, I just saw something here. OpenAI just closed. This is on Business Insider. It came out 3 hours ago. They just closed $110 billion funding round through the likes of NVIDIA, Amazon, and SoftBank. Good for them.
Yep.
That's crazy, man. All right, bro. Bite. Another show specific to the Heart of Alabama Food Bank is coming up here next, and we'll get to that. Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful weekend. Appreciate you.
You as well, my friend.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.